everybody, in this video we will study about the Lokpal Act, the powers and jurisdiction it has and certain drawbacks. Before we do, please make sure you subscribe to News Canvas. So what exactly is a Lokpal? So Lokpal, you must have heard, is meant for the union and Lokayukta is for the states. Now both these bodies were established under the Lokpal and Lokayukta Act of 2013 and both these institutions are statutory bodies without any constitutional status. They basically perform the function and inquire into allegation of corruption against certain public functionaries and for related matter. Now the question arises, why do we need Lokpal in the first place, right? So maladministration is like a termite which slowly erodes the foundation of a nation and hinders the administration from completing its task. Basically corruption, it is the root cause of any problem. So most of the anti-corruption agencies today are hardly independent. Many of these agencies are advisory bodies without any effective powers and their advice is rarely followed. There is also the problem of internal transparency and accountability. Now, originally, the idea of creating an anti-corruption ombudsman in form of Lokpal was first conceptualized in 1968 in the 4th Lok Sabha. Thereafter, in subsequent years, continuous efforts were made to enact this legislation to create the institution of Lokpal. Speaking about the composition of the Lokpal, it's a multi-member body. It has 8 members. The chairperson is the former Chief Justice of India or the former Judge of Supreme Court or an eminent person. Out of the 8 members, at least 50% should be from the SC, ST, OBC, minorities and women category. And the term of the office is for 5 years or till the age of 70. And the members are appointed by president on recommendation of a selection committee. Now this selection committee that is comprised of the prime minister, speaker of Lok Sabha, leader of opposition in Lok Sabha and chief justice of India or again the former judge of a Supreme Court or an eminent person. Now let us have a look at the jurisdiction and powers of the Lokpal. So jurisdiction of Lokpal includes Prime Minister, ministers, members of parliament, group A, B, C and D officers and officials of central government. The Lokpal does not have jurisdiction over ministers and MPs in the matter of anything that is said in the parliament or a vote that is given there. Its jurisdiction also includes any person who has been a part of a society or a body that has been set up by a central act or any other body that is controlled by the central government. The Lokpal Act mandates that all public officials should furnish the assets and liabilities of themselves as well as their respective dependents. The Act also ensures that public servants who act as whistleblowers are protected. It has the powers to superintendent over and to give direction to the CBI. The inquiry wing of Lokpal has been vested with the powers of civil court. Lokpal has powers of confiscation of assets, proceeds, receipts and benefits arisen or procured by means of corruption in special circumstances. Lokpal has the power to recommend transfer or suspension of public servant connected with allegation of corruption. It also has the powers to give direction to prevent the destruction of records during preliminary inquiry. Now, let us look at the current scenario, why it was in news. So, the centre has refused to disclose the minutes of the Lokpal Selection Committee and it has invoked that it is exempted under the RTI Act. And the CIC, the Central Information Commission, has also upheld the centre's decision. Speaking of the drawbacks, Lokpal is not free from political influence as the appointing committee itself consists of members from political parties. Secondly, it excludes the participation of judiciary from the ambit of Lokpal. Thirdly, Lokpal is not given any constitutional backing and there is no adequate provision for appeal against the Lokpal. Fourthly, the 2013 Act did not provide concrete immunity to the whistleblowers. And lastly, the specific details in relation to appointment of Lokayukta has been completely left onto the states. In order to tackle the problem of corruption, the institution of this ombudsman should be strengthened both in terms of functional autonomy and availability of manpower. That was all about the Lokpal Act, its provisions and the drawbacks. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also follow News Canvas on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you and have a great day.